I want to thank all of you for being here this evening. And it really, really touches my heart that I have so much support. And I just know, looking out, if anybody's read this so far, I have, I think, 4 people that are here that are contributing to the story directly. Can I have you raise your hand? Is that okay? To say who you are, or do we want to be discreet about it? Yay! Thank you for contributing to this book, and really thank everyone for contributing to this book in one way or another, because without you this book would not be. And there's a massive team that created this book, because there's a saying that says it takes a village to raise a child. Well, I say it takes a village to create a baby, and you are all part of my village. And you're all part of my village for giving birth to this book, my baby book tonight as well. So thank you for that. I could name every single one of you and single you out, but that would just take way too long, so I don't want to do that. But I do want to say, for this specific event, I want to thank Jennifer Witzel. Where are you? Raise your hand. She was kind enough to have this, she offered this space for us and hosting it, so that's awesome. I feel very swanky. I know I'm in a swanky place. When I go to the bathroom, there's cream. I love that. And I also want to honor and thank Holly and Dave. Please raise your hands. Because they volunteered to do this event on the eve of their 25th wedding anniversary. So how awesome is that? And Jackie for telling and sharing her story in front of you all. And Dr. Hannum for speaking. Where are we stuck? There he is, okay. But again, really, I can really say hello and thank everyone. And my team at Alive Holistic Health Clinic, Kim, Hang, and David, Liang, and Tina, Tori. I need you guys to wave your hands. I don't even know where you are. Okay. And Tanya Smith and Sean Gallagher. Yay, okay. I want to thank you because you guys were part of this rock of keeping things smoothly. When I ran away for fertility treatments and all that, you guys were there to pick up the pieces. And also when I was writing my book, you guys picked up the pieces. And I felt fully confident that our patients were getting really great care, so thank you. For Dr. Hannum, I actually want to acknowledge you because as we were going through our journey, we started to try to conceive, my husband and I, Jean-Louis. Jean-Louis, where are you? So I was 38 and he was 40, for those that does not know this story. But over a year after we were trying to conceive, I'm like, all right, fine, reluctantly, we'll go to the clinic, right? But the first doctor didn't catch what Dr. Hannum did, and that was finding out through hysterossalpingogram, an x-ray, to visualize my internals. We found out that we had blocked fallopian tubes. They were also fluid-filled, so the recommendation is to literally surgically remove them because there's also a theory that the fluids can be toxic and prevent implantation. So we did do that, but without his diagnosis, we could have just been trying blindly forever and nothing would have happened because the eggs and sperm would never meet. So thank you for finding that. What is my book about? Well, I wrote this because 1 in 6 couples, people, women, have issues in a lifetime trying to conceive. Well, in this room, there's actually more than, 80% of you. But in reality, if you walk into any Starbucks, if there's 20 people, just think that at least 3 people have had issues or are currently having issues or will one day have issues with trying to conceive. So that's really prevalent, but yet no one talks about it. It's just such a private conversation, and there's still a lot of stigma attached to it. So one of the big reasons is to really dispel the shame, give a voice to those who are suffering in silence, and saying, hey, even no matter what your diagnosis is, there is a possibility, there are methods, and there's not just one cookie cutter method of having a child. And so with that, in this book, I wanted to use storytelling because this is what it is. It's about real lives. And my patients who I asked, they were gracious enough to tell me their stories in full. And as you saw, and some of them are here this evening, so I hope you get to read their stories. And I think that to capture people's struggles and the journey as they go through it is so important. It's the heart of all this because, you know, we don't go through life. And in fact, growing up, we're probably all told, oh, you know, you better not get pregnant. So you just assume when the time that it comes, when it comes time to, you think, oh, it's just going to happen like that. Well, unfortunately, for 1/6 of us, it doesn't happen that way. And it's very sad while you're going through it. And in my book, I give lots of advice. So it is based through lots of research, but it's also based on my own personal experience as well as the experiences of all my patients and just the clinical experience and our patients that are alive. And the one big thing, the big takeaway is that, you know, there's really not one way of doing it. And no matter what your diagnosis is, there is a way that you can overcome it. It has happened. And, you know, I'm not speaking just like as another practitioner offering, dishing out advice. You know, I've walked it. And so I get it. And I get you, and you're not alone. So there are some people in the room that are currently going through this struggle. And, you know, we've got you. And I encourage you, if you're willing to maybe even mingle and talk to others who have gone through this too. And as you know, again, there are people who have gone through it right here, and there's a couple of babies. I don't know if they've left already, but they're very inspiring, and I hope that you'll get inspired by that. So I'm going to do one little reading just to finish off. It says literally at the end of my book, whether you are planning to have a family in the distant future, just starting out, or have been trying for years, remember that life's a journey and not a destination. Having a baby is not somewhere you get to. Instead of looking at your fertility journey as a treacherous mountain to be climbed, try seeing it as an opportunity to look within at the fertile valley you already are, a river bottom capable of receiving and nurturing life. And this is what I want you to advise. I advise and have you place less emphasis on. So trying to force a baby into your belly, don't do that. You cannot control this. Instead, accept this as training for parenting, since it's an illusion to think you can have full control of your future children's actions. Your age, fertility statistics, or pathology, which focus your attention on the idea that there is something wrong with you. And lastly, your past disappointments and grief. And instead, I suggest you focus more of your energy on embracing all of you, faults and all. Let go of your shame with a healthy dose of self-love. Nurturing healthy relationships around you, especially with your partner. The fertility journey can drive couples apart, so nourish your relationship with love, intimacy, respect, and open communication. Living in the present and staying true to yourself, recognizing your need for self-preservation rather than saying yes to everything and running yourself thin. Most of the people in this room are like that type A, will say yes to everything, yes? Living in the present and staying true to yourself, recognizing your need for self-preservation. Okay, we already said this with me. Using the tips and advice throughout this book to decrease your stress levels, even if it's just by finding 5 minutes at a time, when you can be in control, eat better, and live your life in a healthier way. Striving for balance rather than perfection. Accepting you are perfectly imperfect. Thank you. So, I'm sorry, I have to acknowledge, like, more people. So, again, my husband, because he really had the raw deal because I was like totally pounding away at the computer every night for like over years and dragging him through our fertility journey. He's like, we have a great life, we don't need it, la 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 la. I'm like, no, we're going for it. So he just went along for the ride, and here we are. We have a 4.5-year-old, her name is Zoe, and her name means life. And the last person I really want to acknowledge is my mother, and she's right there. And I acknowledge her because she, in a way, gave me permission to tell my story, because culturally speaking, this is actually a very shameful conversation. And this is exactly what I want to dispel. So thank you, Mom.